Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. We discuss all things aviation. Today we are in conversation with Captain Kerry Grant all the way from Trinidad and Tobago across the Atlantic. He graced us with his presence and he agreed to have us interview him on this channel on his journey to aviation. There are lots of inspirational moments in this video. Please stay the full course of the video. You will notice that there's a lot to learn from this man who gave it all and said to himself, I shall pursue my childhood dream to the fullest. Captain Kerry Grant.
How are things on your end across the Atlantic?
Today is good, man. We have beautiful weather out here today. Gorgeous day for flying. Really good day. Really good day.
Lovely, lovely. We are battling a cold front in South Africa. We're in the middle of winter, so it's a little bit cold, but we're coping.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you for coming through. Perhaps let's get started. Let's not waste any more time. Let's just get started.
No problem.
Yeah. And first of all, thank you for coming through, for agreeing to come talk to us. It's a very important thing. It's a very important project that you're on, and we really appreciate your time and your, the contribution you're going to make today. We really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Perhaps as a starting point, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, guys, South Africa, everyone out there that will be viewing. My name is Kerry Grant. Some call me Captain Kerry Grant. Some call me Sensei Kerry Grant. I live in the wonderful, beautiful islands of Trinidad and Tobago. We are located in the Caribbean, guys. We are those little islands that are very close the northeastern corner of Venezuela. We are right off of the northeastern tip of Venezuela. And we are that country a few months ago, last year, you would have heard when Venezuela was going through their crisis. Everybody was coming across the channel and heading to our little island. So Trinidad and Tobago is a beautiful place. We're a twin republic island country. We have both Trinidad and Tobago, as I said before. Trinidad is more the party island. It's where all the, you can get everything. Tobago is a more tourist destination. It's really relaxed. Beautiful beaches, beautiful sand. I want to get all your coconut drinks and stuff, you go to Tobago. And
nice.
For me personally, guys, I am a sensei. I run a mixed martial arts club, Southern Warriors of Mixed Martial Arts. It's number one mixed martial arts MMA club in the English-speaking Caribbean right now. I have some of the top fighters. I also run a lot of programs for the youth, for young people of Trinidad and Tobago. And yes, guys, I'm also an aircraft owner and a pilot as well. So here I am introducing myself to you guys.
Lovely. Thanks a lot, man. It's a very colorful CV you have there. I didn't know about the sensei part. I'm sitting here thinking we know pilots need to be fit and healthy, but yeah, you took it to the next level.
Yes.
Awesome.
Cage fighting, yeah.
Yeah. No, I've seen some of your videos while you're flying in Trinidad and Tobago, and I must say it's very beautiful there. One day I wish to land there, possibly in the future when I have my own aircraft. I wish to land in one of your airports there. It's a very lovely place.
It's really beautiful, and I trust and I believe I will see you visiting here sometime, probably post-COVID,
Of course, we will make it happen. Because we're in touch. We'll keep talking and arrange it. Someday it's gonna happen. Yeah. All right. Now, when you talk to any aviator about why you're in the cockpit, what got you there to start with? Most aviators go back to childhood and they tell you a story from childhood. Is that the case with you? What made you decide I'm going to be a pilot?
Well, honestly, it's the same for me. I remember vividly, I was 5 years old and it was my first plane ride. My mother was taking me to New York City from Trinidad. And on the way the step, you know, you had to climb the steps to get into those planes a long time. On the way up the step, I remember I slipped on the step, and you know, I probably started to cry, and the captain was standing at the door, and to ease my troubles, my crying, he took me into the cockpit, and it was a night flight, right? So he took me into the cockpit. I was 5 years old, guys, and I saw all the panels lit up, all the colorful lights in the cockpit, and from that moment, I was sold on being a pilot. You know, as I was growing up, seeing the men in the uniforms and seeing all the videos, and when you go to the airport as I was growing and seeing how distinguished they looked and how important they looked, you know, I was like, I want to be like that one day. I want to be this person. I want to be walking in those shoes one day. And I set out then and there as a young boy to achieving my goal. It wasn't easy, but I did it.
Yeah. I think, yeah, it's a common story for every aviator. First, it's a dream that you have, and then there's the hard work that comes with it for you to actually eventually get to the cockpit.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So going back to perhaps your high school days, what subjects would you say played a critical role in you becoming a pilot?
I could definitely say sciences in Trinidad and Tobago, they kind of stay into the sciences, physics, chemistry. You also have to do geography. Those are the subjects that they would steer you in school to tell you if you want to be, you know, pave the way to your career of being a pilot. Also mathematics, advanced maths, advanced mathematics, you know, those are the subjects that they will tell you you have to study. That will really come back to help you a lot when you start going to school as an aviator.
Okay, so I see it's almost similar to what we would expect a South African high school student to have. I think it's the same everywhere. Aviation requires the sciences, it requires mathematics as well. And English, okay.
Yeah.
So, and then moving from high school to now starting your training, your actual training to become a pilot. Take us through that journey.
Wow. I started training at 16 years of age. And guys, I'm the eldest of 5 children. So let me start by saying that I'm the eldest of 5 kids. And at the age of 15, 16, I told my dad, you know, Daddy, I really want to become a pilot. And, you know, he said, all right, son, you know, he will see what he can do. And at that age, 16, I realized, you know, it would have been difficult on my parents back then to put me through flight school. And I have my other siblings coming behind me, but, you know, they were supportive. But what I did, I started doing weekend jobs. So I started working at the local McDonald's on the weekends, to earn money for my flight training. And what I would do is go up on the weekend, and at 6 a.m. in the morning, I would take a taxi and travel up to the airport and basically just go pay for my flight training once every other week. You know, I would save up the money just for that particular hour. And it continued like that for almost a year. And eventually it came to the point where it was just a bit difficult because of schoolwork and studies and other things that I had going on, sports, because I was heavily into sport at the time as well. You know, it became a bit tedious for me to maintain doing that, going to work on weekends to save money to fly. So I had to give it up. And I always said, you know, one day I will return to the dream. My father, he insisted that when I was probably like around 20, he said, Kerry, I will pay for you. Don't worry, I will pay for you. And we were looking at a few schools in the US and Florida. There's a school called Florida Institute of Technology that has a very good aviation program there. And man, I can tell you it wasn't the cost to go to school there. Semester was really high. And again, you know, I told my dad, look, don't worry about it. I still have younger brothers and sisters coming up. One day I will fulfill my dream. And I never lose focus, man. No matter what. Yes, I went on to do other things because I worked in the petrochemical industry. I worked in the oil and gas industry as a petroleum engineer and operator. And but I saved my money and I kept, you know. But then as time go on, you know, you have a family now, and there is always something shifting the focus. But I stayed strong, and it was in 2011, I made up my mind. I said, no matter what, I'm going to go back and finish and get my stuff. And that's when I decided to go back and sacrifice. It was a sacrifice, I tell you, my brother. It was really, Angelo, it was hard, man. But
I can imagine.
Through it. I had the support from, yeah, you know, and I did it, man. I started the training here in Trinidad, and then it became a little bit, there were some concerns, and I decided to go to the US to finish Florida. And there's where, you know, it really took off for me. I went to all aircraft training flight school, that is in Florida. The owner and chief instructor there is a very good friend of mine because, of course, we are around the same age. And I was probably the oldest guy in the classroom because, you know, these flight schools now are full of kids.
Yes, yeah. I can relate, yeah.
Yes. I can relate, man. You know, and he and I hit it off really well. We've had a good friendship, and he really guided me through the process. And it was difficult studying at times, you know, because I had other things to think about, you know, whereas you had these other kids there, their only focus was on flying and getting their hours and studying. I had so much other things going on in the world happening around me. You know, it was a little bit difficult just trying to concentrate and devote that time specifically for aviation. I can tell you the written exam wasn't that difficult. I studied for probably put in about 2 months of good studying to pass the written exam. So when I passed that, it was a relief. I didn't pass at the mark I was hoping to pass at. You know, I just made just like an 80. Most people at that time were getting in the 90s, you know, and I passed. 75 was a pass mark, and I'll be honest about, you know, and at least I passed the exam. And you know, my instructor looked at me and he said, Kerry, man, you come a long way. You know, you're one of the older guys here, you have a lot going on and you still pass the exam. So bravo to you. And that gave me a good, you know, some encouragement to keep pressing on. And he knew the training, the flight training. So it was becoming a little bit tedious for me, man, because I staying away from my family in Florida for so long. And then I had my business here in Trinidad. So I decided, you know what? I always said once I got into aviation, I want to get into aviation, not just to be a pilot to work for anybody, but to have my own business in aviation, you know, and that was really my dream and my passion that was cultivated over the years. And I said, you know what, this is a good opportunity for me to see what it's like to own an aircraft. And staying in the US and building the hours, because, you know, you got to build up that 50 hours.
Yeah.
You know, it was getting really expensive, man, because I had to pay for hotel, I got to pay for the food. And I said, I found out that, you know, I could build my hours right home in Trinidad as long as I have a November registered aircraft to do so.
Okay.
There was no, because my license, a FAA license, so, but there were no FAA planes in Trinidad at the time. So I said, man, you know what? I'm going to do something crazy. I'm going to buy my own plane, man, and build my
That was a bold move, but I think that's the first step that you take to realize your goal. You know, you have to take that bold step. Yeah.
Yeah, man. When I tell you, Angelo, everybody was telling me I was crazy. Everybody was saying, Kerry, you're crazy, man. What you gonna do, man? What, a plane? You know?
Yeah. Especially in our communities, you know, owning a plane is unheard of. So if you're going to be the first man of color to actually try and buy your plane, it looks a little bit crazy, you know.
Yes, it looks a little bit strange. So people were telling me I was crazy, but I went ahead again, forged on. sacrificed again, and I made it happen. And I was able to bring the plane home, have the experience of flying the plane all the way from Kansas, Missouri in the US, all the way to Trinidad and Tobago. I flew that plane with an instructor. So, so I was building time as well with the flying home. So, you know, it was a win-win. And by the time I got home, I started doing all my maneuvers and everything. And just learning to fly the aircraft is a complex aircraft. It's a Piper Arrow. So, you know, it's a complex aircraft. It's not fixed gear, so it's retractable gear. And it has a constant speed prop. So, you know, you can manipulate the RPMs on the propeller. So it gives you really good performance, and it's fast. You know, I get a nice ground speed of 135, 145 knots with that plane.
Awesome.
It's really fast. Yeah. So I was able to do that, you know, and then I went back to the US, spent like a week in the US, preparing to do the exam, to familiarize myself with the flight path. They want me to do the exam, and days doing that, familiarizing myself with the they wanted me to fly. And man, I went and I knocked it out the park, bro. I came back home with my license, you know, my PPL license at that time. It was a real significant accomplishment on my part.
I can imagine, because there is freedom when you get your PPL. You know, finally you are now qualified as a pilot, and you can pretty much do your low-level flying, especially in Trinidad and Tobago. Man, I've seen your flights there. They're very awesome. It's beautiful. Yeah.
Yes.
No, it's an interesting journey. It's a very interesting journey that you've just shared with us. Did Trinidad and Tobago require you to convert your license, or can you guys fly with FAA license without a problem within Trinidad and Tobago, so long as the aircraft is a November aircraft?
Right. Well, Trinidad and Tobago, we have our own civil aviation. It's called the Trinidad and Tobago Civil Aviation. And our civil aviation has a partnership with the FAA. So we basically we run what you call the Freedom of the Skies Act. It applies to us. So any November or FAA registered aircraft has the freedom to enter our airspace and also stay in our airspace. So because I'm a resident of Trinidad and Tobago, even though I own a FAA registered aircraft or November registered aircraft, but I'm a holder of a FAA license, my aircraft gets what you call special resident permission. So so my aircraft can stay in Trinidad. I don't have to worry about, you know, taking it back to the US. It could stay in Trinidad. And I fly it around all the islands all the time. I fly the entire Caribbean, as you see. You know, I can.
And I envy you. I really, really envy you. Wow. Okay.
Oh man, you're gonna enjoy it as well, man. Andrew, I look forward to your visit.
No, I will come through. Yes, I will pull through. Indeed.
We're gonna hit some countries. We're gonna go some island hopping, man. We're gonna do some island hopping.
Yeah. No, we'll do that.
Yeah. To answer your question, it's not an issue. Yeah.
Okay. All right. No, I can see from your experience, your journey to the cockpit. It's similar to every other aviator I've talked to, or every other aviator I've interacted with. It's a very taxing journey. You need to know what you want. It may take you years, but you need to hold on to your goal and keep pushing. Even if you get knocked off, go back to the center line. Focus on your goal. That's what I pick up from your experience.
Stay focused. No man, you're gonna always get naysayers. You're always gonna get those people that will tell you, no, you can't do it. No, you shouldn't do it. They're always gonna be those people that are gonna find those reasons for you not to stay on the path. And you have to believe in you. Sometimes the best motivator is self-motivation. And you have to believe in yourself. Remember, nobody's gonna understand your dream and your passion but you. And you need to understand that, listen, my dad can't make it happen for me. My friend can't make it happen for me. You know, it's me. It's all on me. I have to give up sometimes, man, the sacrifices. You have to give up the hanging out. You have to give up the drinking. You have to give up the late night partying. The reward is so sweet. The sacrifice is worth it.
Mm, mm, mm. No, it's clear, man, that with sacrifice and determination, you do get the goal. You know, you get to whatever dream that you had, but you need to be consistent and stay with it.
Yes. Stay with it.
Yeah. All right. So that was basically your challenges, your highlights. I was going to ask you about your highlights. You've already told me one of the highlights was buying your aircraft. The other highlight was getting your first license. Any other highlights along your journey?
Of course. Man, let me tell you, I got an opportunity to fly the plane back to the US. Man, flying the Caribbean, I flew the entire span of the Caribbean. So you talked about Trinidad and Tobago is the very last islands in the Caribbean. We're the last. After us, there's no other islands in the Caribbean. And I'm flying from the very last island in the Caribbean to Miami, you know, in a single engine.
Wow.
In a single engine, you know, piston aircraft. And now I have my license. There is no instructor with me. I'm going to do this myself, brother. You know, so it took a few weeks of flight planning and really kind of chunking myself up to prepare my mind mentally to do this. You know,
that reminds me of my first solo cross country. Yeah.
Exactly. Similar to your first solo, just on steroids, because now it's
yeah, real commander of your own aircraft now. Yeah.
Correct. Over open water.
Yes, that was the other tricky part.
Correct. So but flight planning had to be meticulous. So
yes. Yeah.
That was doing that flight by myself, man. I'm telling you, Angela, there's no greater feeling. That's when I actually told myself, I was like, okay, Kerry, you are now a pilot. You know, I flew the Caribbean on 3 occasions. That is what it is, man. And I have friends in the US that are commercial pilots that fly with airlines that have never crossed water.
Yeah.
Never crossed water. They just was open line. They've never crossed water. So they tell me, you're crazy, you're psycho, man, to fly over open water with a single engine.
I guess at some level,
but like I tell people, you take care of your people, take care of you.
True. I guess at some level, there is a level of insanity, a level of craziness that you need in order to achieve any goal. Yeah. Otherwise, if you stay sane, you may not get there. You need that level of insanity that you engaged in, Nice. Right, so those were your highlights. Now let's talk about the aviation industry in Trinidad and Tobago. I know that in South Africa, it's an industry that can be classified as not transformed, in the sense that people like me and you are very scarce in the cockpit, and then it's even worse for women. It's a male-dominated industry. It's a white male-dominated industry. So people like me and you may not necessarily be better represented there. Women, it's even worse. Even when I fly, it's hard to see a woman pilot. When you see one, you're like, our sisters are there. Okay, keep going. So how is the industry in Trinidad? The ordinary child in Trinidad, when they think of climbing into the cockpit, what barriers are they faced with?
Well, that is an interesting question and a very good one. Trinidad and Tobago, we're a very mixed culture. So in terms of race, we still have races that fly. We have our own airline called Caribbean Airlines, and you can find mixed races across the board flying for Caribbean Airlines. Now, with that being said, on the topic of females and women in the industry, before we really didn't have that much. But I can happily tell you, Caribbean Airlines right now, it has sort of taken up I don't want to say the challenge, that's not the word I want to use, but have taken up the mantle to employ more females as pilots now. So you're seeing an influx of more female pilots flying the 737s and flying the ATRs that we have here in Trinidad and Tobago that service the Caribbean. So the industry right now, I can say, has been a little more flexible towards allowing more females into the industry. And just to reiterate concerning race, our islands here are predominantly Black and East Indian people. So we have a lot of Black and East Indian people. We do have a lot of people of color flying our aircraft throughout the Caribbean. So that is not an issue.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. No, it's actually a nice thing to see that in the Caribbean there's a move towards transforming the industry, towards allowing women to enter the cockpit more and more. Hopefully, we will also take the mantle down here as well and keep pushing for that. Although the government is trying, in South Africa, for instance, the government is always talking about transformation on both levels, on the racial level and on the gender level. But yeah, it's up to society to embrace that and push with it as well. So you also work with young people, isn't it?
Yeah.
Could you tell us a little bit about that as well?
Well, as I mentioned before, I'm a martial arts coach, a martial arts instructor. I've been involved in martial arts for many years and always wanted to be a coach. And while being a coach, you develop relationships and you start seeing the issues that young people face. And it's just inevitable, man. You're a coach, you become an instant mentor. You become a big brother. You become a father figure. It comes with the job. And I can tell you, man, it pleases my heart to help someone out, especially the younger people when they come to me for advice. Even, being around them, you eventually started discern when they need help. They may not want to come to you and ask, but you discern that, you sense it, you feel it, and you know how you can approach them in a nice, friendly manner and say, hey, man, what's up? What's going on? You talk to me. And, you get to open up and you work with them. I've worked with so many young people, my brother, man. It's a blessing. It's a blessing to see some of them now on the right path, doing right by society, living influential lives now. And it's a blessing. It's a blessing to be in that position, to assist guide,
someone else,
to mentor, to empower. And that is something that I love to do. I love empowering the youth. I love speaking positivity into their lives because I've been through so much, so much that could have, knocked me off my feet. So much that could have gotten me to quit, Angelo, but I never did. And going through these experiences, building that resilience to the naysayers and to the new opportunities that came my way. It has put me in a better place, a very good position to now guide these young ones through the gauntlets of misdirection, through the gauntlet of the nose, through the gauntlet of discouragement, through the it's a gauntlet. That's exactly what it is, because sometimes they're being bombarded by so many negatives. They feel like though they just to give up, and that is exactly what it is, a gauntlet. It's just things coming one after another. You think you get through something, and boom, there is something else to throw you back. You make a step forward, something happens that will throw you 2 feet back, man. I know how it is, and I've been there. You've been there.
Yeah, I can pick up the passion in you when you talk about young people and when you talk about mentorship. You see, I always say when I talk to people that being a mentor sometimes looks like it can sometimes come across as a curse, because when you see space for mentorship, no one tells you to go and help, to go and mentor. You start feeling the fire within you that I need to assist there. without someone sending you there. Whereas people are just chilling and minding their own business. You can see the problem and you want to go and help. So I can feel the mentor in you that's always wanting to lend a hand here and lend a hand there. And it's a good thing, my brother, I must tell you, because someone once said, in this life, you must have mentors yourself and have mentees. In other words, you mentor those below you because you're basically recognizing that you didn't get this far on your own. Somebody held your hand and showed you the way at some point. So you're paying it forward as well. I can pick that up with you as well. It's quite a good thing. Keep pushing there. Keep pushing a lot.
It is. It's a blessing and a privilege, man. I thank God every day.
Yeah. All right, my brother. We are now coming towards the end of our discussion, and before we wrap it up, I just want to ask you, what would you say to young aviators, wherever they are in the world, in Africa, in the Caribbean, in Latin America, anywhere else, young people who are intent on becoming aviators? Just a word of encouragement.
Go for it. Do it. Just like the Nike commercial says, man, just do it. And no matter what people tell you, no matter how crazy people tell you you are, don't even take on the bank, man. You look at the bank account and the bank account is saying no. Tell the bank account yes. You know, there is power in the tongue. I believe that, Andrew. I always tell my students this, and I tell young people and people that I talk to when I'm encouraging them. Sometimes, you know, people tell you to stay quiet and keep certain things to yourself, but there is certain power. There is power in speaking and saying things. So I tell my students, speak it, believe it, go achieve it. Those are my three things, man. So this is what I'm going to leave with you guys today from Trinidad and Tobago. Speak it into being, people. Speak it, believe what you're saying, believe it, and then go achieve it. Now remember, guys, words is not action. So after you put that out there, you gotta go and work to make it happen. You gotta put in that grind, and it is going to happen. It may not happen tomorrow. It may not happen next week. It may not even happen next year. But as long as you stay loyal, as long as you stay passionate, as long as you stay committed, I guarantee you guys out there in Africa, in the Caribbean, in the US, in the world, I guarantee you it will happen for you at some point in time in your lives. Trust me on that.
Thank you so much, my brother Kerry. Thank you so much for pulling through and for that motivational bit there. It's quite powerful. I hope young people will take it and they will run with it. It starts here in the mind. You think about it, you express it, then you go and work for it. Because without working for it, it's not going to come. You know.
That's correct. It's not going to come. You gotta go get it.
Wow. Okay, this is very, very powerful statement, and thank you for agreeing to pull through and have a chat with us, man. I'll keep following your work. I keep seeing the beautiful shots and videos overhead, your beautiful islands there, man. It's like every piece of land there is like heaven. The waters are blue, the sands are white. I'm like, yeah. Keep flying high, and keep feeding us those visuals. We need to see that to keep motivated, and for young people to also keep motivated as they work towards their goal. I always say, with every hour the cockpit beckons, because every hour you add, you're getting closer and closer and closer to the cockpit. Whether it's an hour of studying, whether it's an hour of flying, whether it's an hour of searching for information or for motivation, whatever hour you're adding on top of that takes you closer and closer to the cockpit. And my brother, thank you so much.
That's correct. Man, you welcome, Angelo. You welcome, my brother. You welcome, man. I look forward to being in your program again. Trust me.
Yes. I will again knock on your doors in the future when there's anything we need to discuss. I will call you up and we'll talk about how we can set it up and discuss it. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It was a pleasure, guys. And Angelo, you keep doing what you're doing for the young people over there. Keep mentoring them. God will bless you, my brother. And I guarantee you, we will meet each other, and you're gonna fix me one of those cocktails that you like.
Yes, I will definitely fix you one of those. And then we're going to have to make a whole episode out of that session alone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Kerry. Thanks a lot. Thanks for coming through.